Imagine waking up tomorrow and finding out that watching your favorite show could land you in prison for 15 years. Not a fine, not community service. 15 years of your life? Gone. Just like that. Now imagine your mom gets locked up too, and your dad, and your kids, and even your grandkids who aren't even born yet. 3 entire generations of your family wiped out, thrown behind bars because you wanted to watch a movie. Sounds completely insane, right? Like something from a nightmare or some twisted dystopian film you'd stream on a Friday night? But here's the thing. This isn't fiction. This isn't some made-up story I'm throwing at you for shock value. This is actually happening right now, today, in 2025, while you're sitting there scrolling through your phone. This is North Korea, and honestly, what you're about to hear will make you want to drop to your knees and thank whatever higher power you believe in that you weren't born there. So let me ask you something real quick. Have you ever complained about your Wi-Fi being slow? Or your dinner taking too long to arrive? Yeah, we all have. But what if I told you there's a place where half the population doesn't even know if they'll eat today at all? Where people sit in complete darkness for days because electricity is treated like some rare luxury item. Where saying the wrong word in the wrong accent could literally get you executed in public. Would you survive there? Could you even last a week? Because right now, as you're watching this, millions of people are living through hell on Earth. And I'm not exaggerating. This is real. This is happening. And by the end of this video, you're going to see your life in a completely different way. Okay, so let's talk about electricity. You know that thing you probably haven't thought about in ever? Yeah, that magical stuff that keeps your phone charged, your lights on, your fridge cold, your entire life running smoothly. Now picture this. What if all of that just vanished? Like, poof, gone. For 22 hours a day, in Pyongyang, the capital city, the place where only the most loyal, most trusted people are even allowed to live, they get electricity for maybe 2 to 5 hours a day. That's it. The lucky ones and the elites, the people who did everything right, who never questioned anything, who followed every single rule. And their reward is sitting in darkness for most of their lives. Can you even imagine that? You're probably watching this video right now with your lights on, your Wi-Fi blazing, maybe charging 3 devices at once, and you're not even thinking about it. But over there, families are literally planning their entire day around those precious few hours when the power might actually work. And here's where it gets absolutely wild. Some provinces, the ones farther from the capital, get electricity for less than 2 hours. Some remote villages get power 1 day a year. 1 day, 365 days, and they get to flip a light switch exactly once. That's not living, that's surviving in the Stone Age with a light bulb taped to the wall as a cruel joke. Actually, you want to know how dark it really is? Satellite images from space, actual photos taken from orbit, show North Korea as this massive black hole sitting between the bright, glowing lights of China and South Korea. It's like someone just erased an entire country from the nighttime sky. Millions of people, just invisible in the darkness. And right now, as you're hearing this, they're sitting there, waiting, hoping maybe tonight the lights will come on for an hour or two. But if you think sitting in darkness is bad, wait until you hear about the food situation. Or, actually, the lack of food situation. When's the last time you were really, truly hungry? Not like, oh man, I'm starving, let me order some pizza, hungry. I'm talking about the kind of hungry where your stomach feels like it's eating itself, where you haven't had a real meal in days, where you genuinely don't know if you'll eat anything today. At all. Right now, 12 million people in North Korea are dealing with that exact nightmare. 12 million. That's like taking the entire population of New York City and Los Angeles combined and starving them. Half the country is malnourished, which is just a fancy way of saying they're slowly wasting away because there's no food. And it gets worse. Way worse. They have this thing called the starving spring. Yeah, that's what they actually call it. It's the time between harvests when all the stored food runs out and people are just screwed. Prices shoot through the roof, and suddenly a kilogram of pork that used to cost a certain amount now costs almost double, and even then, you can't find it anywhere. Fresh milk? Forget about it. That doesn't exist for most people. Meat is like spotting a unicorn. It's a fantasy, a dream, something you tell your kids about like it's a bedtime story. So, what do they eat? Fermented cabbage, rice if they're lucky, corn, watery porridge that's basically just sadness in a bowl. And here's the heartbreaking part. 1 out of every 3 children in North Korea is stunted from not getting enough food. 1 in 3. Their bodies literally can't grow properly because they've been starving since they were born. Kids who should be running around, playing, growing tall and strong, they're just stuck, trapped in bodies that can't develop because there's nothing to fuel them. Now, let's move on to something that sounds good on paper but is actually one of the cruelest jokes ever played on desperate people. In 2023, the government came out and announced they were raising everyone's wages by 10 times. 10 times? Can you imagine? You're making $3,000 a month and suddenly, bam, you're making $30,000. Everyone must have been celebrating, right? Throwing parties, thinking, finally. Things are getting better? Yeah, no? That lasted about 5 seconds before reality slapped them in the face like a brick wall made of disappointment and lies. Here's what actually happened. Before the wage increase, $3,000 couldn't even buy you a single kilogram of rice. Not even one. So people were already drowning, barely surviving, scraping by on nothing. Then the government goes, "Hey, we're giving you 10 times more money." And everyone's thinking maybe, just maybe, life won't be so brutal anymore. But then, prices exploded. Everything shot up right alongside those wages, so that $30,000 couldn't buy you much more than the $3,000 could before. It was like getting a promotion at work only to find out rent just went up by the exact same amount. You're still broke, you're still struggling, but now you get to feel extra stupid for believing things might change. And the worst part? People actually had hope for a minute there. They believed the system might care about them. Workers thought they'd finally be able to feed their families properly, maybe save a little, maybe breathe a little easier. But nope. Pulled the rug right out from under them. The young generation especially. They're done. Completely done. They don't trust anything anymore. They've watched their parents believe in empty promises their whole lives, and they're like, yeah, we're not falling for that garbage. They know the truth now. Nobody's coming to save them. They're completely on their own in this nightmare. If you think that wage scam was brutal, buckle up, because the punishments in North Korea are so insanely over the top, they'd be hilarious if they weren't absolutely terrifying. Like, we're talking about a place where you can get your entire life destroyed for the most ridiculous, harmless things imaginable. Picture this. July 2024. Some guy borrows a memory card from his neighbor. You know, one of those tiny little things you pop into your phone or camera. What's on it? South Korean movies. Just movies. Regular films that millions of people watch every single day around the world. He watches them, probably enjoys a few hours of entertainment, and thinks nothing of it. 7 years. 7 years of hard labor for watching movies. The woman who lent him the card? 15 years. 15. She didn't kill anyone, didn't steal anything, didn't hurt a soul. She just shared a memory card, and now she's going to spend over a decade breaking rocks or whatever nightmare work they force prisoners to do. But wait, it gets even more unbelievable. August, same year. A woman helps some people contact their relatives in South Korea and receive some money from overseas. That's it. That's the crime. Helping families talk to each other and accepting money. You know what happened? She got 10 years. Her parents, who probably didn't even do anything except exist in the same house, got 9 and 8 years. 3 people, 3 generations, locked away because someone wanted to talk to their family. Oh, and remember those North Korean athletes who went to the Paris Olympics? Yeah, they took some selfies. The photos went viral online because, that's what happens with Olympic athletes, and when they got back home they faced serious punishment. For taking pictures at the Olympics, representing their country, and here's the wildest part. People can literally be executed, as in killed, for watching a foreign TV show or speaking with the wrong accent. Your voice, the way you talk, can get you murdered by the state. All right, deep breath, because we're about to dive into the absolute darkest, most horrifying part of this whole nightmare: the prison camps. And I'm warning you right now, this is where things go from bad to I can't believe human beings are capable of this territory. Satellite images, actual photos taken from space in 2024 and 2025, show that right now, as you're watching this, somewhere between 53,000 and 65,000 people are locked up in 4 massive political prison camps. That's like taking everyone in a small city and throwing them into hell on earth. But here's where it gets absolutely bonkers. Remember earlier when I mentioned the 3-generation punishment thing? Yeah, let me break down how truly insane that is. You get accused of something. Maybe you said the wrong thing, watched the wrong movie, talked to the wrong person. Doesn't matter. You don't get a trial. You don't get a lawyer. You don't even get told what you did wrong. They just come for you, but they don't stop there. Oh no. They come for your parents, your kids, your grandparents, your grandchildren who aren't even born yet. 3 entire generations of your bloodline wiped out, thrown into camps because of one person's supposed crime. Your baby grandson who's 2 years old and doesn't even understand what's happening. Prison. Your 70-year-old grandmother who's never done anything wrong in her life. Prison. Everyone gone. And what happens inside these camps is the stuff of actual nightmares. We're talking torture, starvation, people being kicked over and over until they die, prisoners getting doused with freezing cold water while kneeling on the ground until some of them just stop breathing. Public executions where everyone's forced to watch. Former prisoners who escaped have talked about seeing children, literal kids, fighting each other over corn they found in cow dung because they were so desperately hungry they'd eat anything. Children, digging through animal waste, fighting for scraps. Now, let's talk about freedom. Or, actually, let's talk about the complete and total absence of freedom. Because in North Korea, that word doesn't even exist. Like, it's been erased from reality. You think you're having a bad day because your boss is micromanaging you? Try living in a place where the entire country is one giant prison and everyone's watching everyone else every single second. You can't travel, at all. You want to visit your mom in the next province over? Nope. You need government permission for that. You want to take a weekend trip? Absolutely not. You literally cannot move from one city to another without the government saying yes, and guess what? They're probably going to say no. You're stuck wherever you are, trapped like a rat in a cage, and there's no way out. Internet? Ha! That's a funny joke. There is no internet for regular people. No YouTube, no social media, no Google, no emails, no nothing. You're completely cut off from the entire world. You can't watch foreign movies or TV shows, and if you somehow get your hands on them, you already know what happens. Prison or death. You can't listen to foreign music. You can't read foreign books. Everything outside North Korea might as well not exist because you'll never, ever see it. And here's something absolutely wild. The government actually passed laws that ban people from using certain words or speaking with certain accents. Yeah, you read that right. If you say a word that sounds too South Korean, or if your accent sounds a little too influenced by outside culture, they can execute you. Public execution. For your voice. For how you naturally speak. It's like living in some twisted game where the rules change every second, and the punishment for breaking them is always death. Remember those Olympic athletes I mentioned earlier? They took selfies. That's it. Photos of themselves at the biggest sporting event in the world. The pictures went viral, people loved them, and when they got back home they were interrogated and punished because their faces became too popular online. Here's something that'll blow your mind. Even in Pyongyang, the showcase capital, the place where only the most loyal, most trusted, most privileged people are allowed to live, life is still absolutely brutal. Like, these are the elites, the chosen ones, the people who did everything right, who never questioned anything, who climbed to the top of the food chain in this nightmare country. And you know what their reward is? 3 to 5 hours of electricity a day in the central districts. That's it. These people live in fancy high-rise apartments with chandeliers and LED lights and all these modern fixtures that look impressive and expensive, but guess what? They can't use any of it. Those beautiful chandeliers? Just decorations. Those LED lights? Might as well be painted on the wall. And the elevators? Oh man, the elevators are the most ridiculous part. The voltage is so weak, so pathetically low, that the elevators basically don't work. So what do people do? They haul everything up the stairs. Every single thing. Groceries, furniture, bags of rice, whatever they need. Up the stairs they go, floor after floor, like they're living in the Stone Age but with the cruelties of modern technology mocking them the entire time. Some people got creative and started using pulleys on their balconies, just dangling ropes down the side of the building to hoist stuff up because climbing 20 flights of stairs with heavy bags is absolutely insane. And elevators? You can only use them during rush hour when the power might be strong enough. Every other time? Stairs, baby. Hope you didn't need to go to the 30th floor. But here's the really crazy part. Families have this routine now where they distribute batteries in the morning, take them to work or school, charge them during the day wherever they can find power, and then bring them home at night to use them for a few hours of light. That's their life. Battery management. Like they're playing some twisted survival game where the prize is being able to see your own hand in front of your face. So you'd think with all this horror, people would be running for the exits, right? Escaping in massive waves, flooding across the borders, desperate to get out. But here's the thing. They can't. Escaping North Korea isn't like quitting a bad job or moving to a new city. It's one of the most dangerous, nearly impossible things a human being can attempt. And the few who try? Most of them don't make it. The numbers of people successfully escaping have dropped to almost nothing. Why? Because China, the country right next door that a lot of defectors try to reach, is actively hunting them down. The Chinese government works with North Korea to find escapees, arrest them, and send them right back. And you already know what happens when they get sent back. Straight to those death camps we talked about earlier. So people who do manage to escape have to hide in safe houses for years. Years. Living in constant fear, never going outside, never living a normal life, just waiting and hoping that maybe, possibly, one day they can get to a country that won't send them back to be tortured and killed. Think about that level of desperation for a second. You risk everything. You leave behind everyone you've ever known. You cross dangerous borders. You hide like a criminal even though you did nothing wrong. And even if you make it out, you might spend years locked in a tiny room in China, terrified every single day that someone will find you and drag you back to hell. That's the price of freedom. That's what it costs to escape. And if you do get caught and sent back, the government treats you like the worst kind of traitor. Some defectors who got returned were thrown directly into political prison camps, the really bad ones. The ones people don't come back from. Ever. They just disappear into those camps and that's it. Game over. Life is over. Everything is over. So, yeah, people aren't exactly lining up to try their luck when the odds are stacked so impossibly against them. But here's where things get really interesting, and by interesting I mean terrifying for the government. Information is leaking in. Slowly, carefully, like water seeping through cracks in a dam, the truth about the outside world is making its way into North Korea, and people are finding out that everything they've been told their entire lives is a lie. South Korean TV shows, movies, music, news, it's all sneaking across the border on USB drives, memory cards, hidden in packages, smuggled by brave people who know they could die for it. And North Koreans are watching this stuff in secret, huddled in dark rooms with blankets over the windows, terrified someone might hear and their minds are being absolutely blown. They're seeing how people in South Korea live. Modern apartments with electricity that actually works all day. Grocery stores are packed with food. Cars are everywhere. People walking around freely, saying whatever they want, watching whatever they want, living actual lives with choices and opportunities and hope. Can you imagine that moment? Your whole life you've been told your country is the best, that everyone else is suffering worse than you, that you should be grateful for the crumbs you're given, and then you see actual footage of people just like you, speaking the same language, eating food you've never even dreamed of, living in a way that seems impossible, like science fiction. The comparison is so stark, so undeniable, that you can't unsee it. You can't unknow what you now know. One defector who escaped described North Korea as a country completely sealed off from the world. A place so stifling and claustrophobic that every single day is a struggle with zero hope for anything better. Life isn't life there. It's just survival, just existing, just making it through another day in darkness and fear and hunger. But now, with information leaking in, people are realizing they don't have to accept this. That somewhere out there life is different, better, actually livable, and that realization is making the government absolutely panic. So let me ask you something right now. And I want you to really, truly think about this. Look around wherever you are. Right now, this second. What do you see? Lights that work? A phone or computer that's charged and connected to the entire world? Maybe there's food in your kitchen. Maybe you're sitting somewhere comfortable. Maybe you can hear traffic outside, people living their lives, going wherever they want, doing whatever they want. Now, imagine all of that just gone, erased. You wake up tomorrow and you're in North Korea. The lights don't work. Your phone is useless. There's no food. You can't leave. You can't speak freely. You can't watch this video. You can't even think certain thoughts without risking your life and the lives of everyone you love. Your grandmother, your parents, your kids, your future grandkids. All of them could be dragged away and tortured because you said one wrong word or watched one wrong movie. Right now, as you're hearing my voice, there are millions of people living that exact nightmare. Children are going to bed tonight with empty stomachs, sitting in complete darkness, not knowing if tomorrow will bring food or punishment or just more of the same endless suffering. Families are being ripped apart, thrown into camps, worked to death, starved to death, beaten to death for crimes they didn't commit. People are trapped in their own country like prisoners, watching their lives waste away with zero hope that anything will ever get better. And here's the really heartbreaking part. They know now. Thanks to that leaked information, they know that life doesn't have to be this way. They've seen proof that somewhere out there people have electricity all day, food in abundance, freedom to speak and move and think and dream. They know they're living in hell while the rest of the world moves on without them. Can you imagine knowing you're suffering for no reason? That you could have had a real life, but you were just born in the wrong place? So, here's what I need you to do. The next time you complain about literally anything, and I mean anything, your Wi-Fi is slow, your food delivery is late, your boss annoyed you, traffic sucked, whatever, I want you to stop for just 1 second and remember what you just watched. Remember that there are people who would trade places with you in a heartbeat, who would give everything to have your problems instead of theirs. You're frustrated because Netflix is buffering? There are people who've never seen a movie without risking their lives. Your dinner is cold? There are millions who don't know if they'll eat at all today. You're tired of climbing stairs because the elevator's broken? Try climbing 20 floors every single day because your entire country has no power. Your job is boring? At least you're not breaking rocks in a prison camp for 3 generations because your neighbor watched the wrong TV show. I'm not saying your problems don't matter. They do. But perspective, you know? Perspective changes everything. You have freedom right now that billions of people throughout history could only dream about. You can watch whatever you want, say whatever you think, go wherever you choose, dream about whatever future you can imagine. Those aren't luxuries. Those are basic human rights. And millions of people don't have them. Right now, tonight, as you go to sleep in your bed with your lights on and your phone charging and maybe some snacks nearby, there are children in North Korea sitting in pitch darkness, stomachs aching from hunger, scared and confused about why their lives are so hard. There are parents crying silently because they can't feed their kids. There are people in camps being tortured for crimes they didn't commit. This isn't ancient history. This is happening right now. So what are you going to do with that information? How does it make you feel? Drop your thoughts in the comments below, because honestly, this is heavy stuff and we should talk about it. And if this video opened your eyes, share it. Someone else needs to see this. Someone else needs to understand how blessed they really are. Thanks for watching, and seriously, be grateful today.